This is Harshaw's Heroes, and I am Jubal. We're going to come at you with a hearty dose of what the hell is happening and why it's happening, as best as we can determine. I will separate for you what is my opinion, what I found out to be fact, and what sort of falsehoods are going around about this stuff. We have a wide variety of topics to cover. We have the current plague. We have the riots going on all over the country at this point. We have the elections coming up. We have media bias. We have the right wing, the left wing, the center wing, which is, I guess, the bird itself. And we have those people who have given up entirely on the two-party system and are going their own way. We're going to take a look at each and every one of these things over the course of the next few videos, and hopefully we'll get to some answers. We're going to pick a topic every video, and we're going to explore it in full. We're going to try to determine how the news is covering it, what the truth is, and what the unsubstantiated rumors are. We're going to try to figure this out so that you are in possession of the truth, at least as far as we can research it with what's out there. We promise to be diligent about that. If I toss out an opinion, I'll let you know, and I have to tell you, if I start laughing in the middle of this or cussing, I think it's an honest reaction, because every one of us have read the news and have cussed and have laughed. It's just the way things are right now. So let's get on with our first topic, which will be what happens if everything goes to hell on January the 20th and we do not have an elected president to swear in on that day. Enormous rumors on that. We're going to take a look at the facts, the history, the constitutional and legal provisions, and we're going to try to come up with an answer in the unlikely event that happens. And I really don't think it's likely. You guys are all reading the polls out of there. I think you can read the writing on the wall. But the question is still out there, and there's a lot of misinformation being spread about it. So here we go. Strap in, and we're going to have a good ride. Okay, so we're at Election Day, November 3rd, 2020. This is mainly going to determine what we're talking about with regard to the Republican candidate, Donald Trump, and the Democrat candidate, Joe Biden. We're going to concentrate on this because, honestly, I feel for the Libertarian Party. They did not run a good campaign this time. We'll talk about that on another video. But we're talking speed bump, and Howie Hawkins with the Greens, he's going to be a little pebble on the side of the road. So let's talk about the main traffic here. We've got to November 3rd. We voted. We have been prepared at this point that there is going to be a delay. We're not going to get the results on the night of November 3rd. Although, knowing our news media, they will try to project something. I've been prepared that we're going to need to take care of absentee ballots, which are in large numbers this year because of the COVID. Possibly mail-in ballots, which they're still trying to sort out at this point. And just the fact that if there is not a very clear winner, it can go just like in the year 2000 with George and Al, where there's going to be lawsuits that are going to go probably all the way up to the Supreme Court. There are several steps that happen on the way. If there is no declared candidate by the time the Electoral College meets, the Electoral College can elect a president with the standing delegates. If that can't be done for some reason, Congress can pick whoever they want to be president. So where we are is, if none of this is decided by Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2021, there's going to be a set of legal guidelines that are set up in the Constitution and in statute law that are going to guide what happens in the unlikely event that that happens. And I do believe this will be very unlikely if it goes this far, but here we go. So, we've had our rumors. Oh, who's going to be in charge? There's not going to be a vice president. So, oh my God, the House of Representatives, the Speaker there will take over. Or maybe this, or maybe that, or maybe the military will come in. Or maybe the Secretary of State will come over. Let's go over the constitutional protections and statute law as it is now so that we actually have a good handle on what happens if everything is a mess, but at least goes according to the Constitution and statute law in this country. Let's try this out now. In the Constitution, there is one provision for the succession of a president. It's in Article 1, Section 1, Clause number 6. And what that provides for is if the president is unable to take office for any reason, the vice president will succeed him. After that, there is a list of executive branch officers in order of the founding of their departments who will take over if there is no vice president, and so on down the line. That's not going to happen because statute law has set it up differently since then. That is the only address in the main body of the Constitution for this difficulty. We will then move on to Amendment 25, which many of you feel is where this whole argument lies, and it really isn't. The only thing that the 25th Amendment to the Constitution addresses is whether a president is unfit or incapable of taking office or serving that office. This requires a judgment call either by the president, the cabinet, or the Congress that the person who is currently serving as president is incapable of serving any further. The provisions are the president can write a letter to the House Speaker saying, I can't serve anymore. When that is served, a vote is taken to either support or deny that motion. The action can also be taken by the members of the cabinet, who upon reaching a majority vote can also recommend to the Speaker of the House that the president is incapable of fulfilling his duties and needs to be removed. This is the only provision in the 25th Amendment. It is for the removal of a sitting president, and it does not apply to anything that has to do if there is no president elected at the time of inauguration. So we can put all of that out of our heads. So what we are left with is the Succession Act of 1947. It was made into law in the year 1947, and it formalized the order of succession of the officers of government in the event that there is no president or vice president available. This is what everybody is looking right now to, and it has a lot of people worried. Now, I like paper. I have paper here. I love paper. Can't get enough of it. I can do this on the computer, but then I'll be squinting at you for a majority of the time. And it's very hard to squint through these. So we're going to go with this. Now, here comes the kicker. In the statute of 1947, the succession statute, what happens is the order was changed up by Harry Truman. He wanted to make sure that not only there are elected officials in line to take over in the event that there is no valid president, but he wanted it to happen in such a way that was reversed from what had always been. When the Act of 1886 was done, it was modified that after the vice president comes the president pro tem of the Senate, who is the senior most senator serving, and then to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and then down that long list of executive officers in the cabinet. What 1947 did, and the act that was ratified that year, was to switch the order of the President pro tem and the Speaker of the House. So as it stands right now, it's President, Vice President. If neither of those are available, the Speaker of the House becomes President. If the Speaker of the House is unavailable, the President pro tem of the Senate becomes the President, interim President. This goes on and on down the entire list of cabinet officers, as it always has, in order of the founding of that cabinet office. Now, everybody is worried about the problem that possibly, according to how things are laid out, Nancy Pelosi will become interim president of the United States. That is how it's laid out in the statute. But there is a very, very serious wrinkle in that. You see, the Speaker of the House loses her position, or his position, as well as their assembly seat at the close of the assembly session, which usually happens in mid-December. At that point, there are no members of the Congress the House of Representatives that are sworn in and valid members anymore, except under emergency circumstances. And for that we're talking basically being called back for a declaration of war. So, at the point that Nancy Pelosi would be taking over as interim president, she is not sworn in as either a member of Congress or as the Speaker of the House. That position is filled by the most highly ranking member of the Senate of either party who has not run for election, therefore maintaining their seniority. Everybody who has run in the Senate for re-election has not been sworn in at this point yet. So the sitting President Pro Tem of the Senate right now is Senator ChuckGrassley of Iowa. When the legalities work out and everything shakes out on the end of the day, if there is no valid elected president or vice president, there will also be no valid elected Speaker of the House. By statute of the Succession Act of 1947, that means the interim presidency must pass to Senator ChuckGrassley, and that is how the mystery ends. So there we have it, as it is statutorily supposed to be done. Now, if there's monkey business goes on, there's monkey business goes on. I have not imagined growing up in this country, and even seeing what happened in 2000, I could not imagine the country in a state like this. This is actually worse than it was during the riots in the late 60s and early 70s. I do not understand how that can happen in this country, except for the fact that time and time again, the electorate, you and me, the voters, have been so polarized against each other, and for so long, starting in the year 2000, that it seems impossible to yield to another person winning. Now, I know there's going to be comments that you guys are going to want to make. I know there might be questions that you're going to have. That's what our comments section is for. Please use it. Give us also feedback about how well this went today. This is going to be the debut performance, or the debut episode, or whatever you want to call it. We're still breaking it in here. We're still trying to get used to some stuff here. But please comment. Please ask questions. I will respond. I absolutely will. And if you want to, I'm on Twitter just about every day. That's Jubal Harshaw 13. JUBALHARSHAW 13 on Twitter. You can get a hold of me there just about every day. And I'm not on 24/7, obviously, but I check several times during the day. If any questions come in through there, I'll be happy to do it. And hey, my Twitter peeps, hey, how's it going? Good to see you, even though I can't really see you, and we both know that. So, until the next time, we're going to close this off for now. I am hoping this gave you a good start. We're looking at many different topics to continue this with. If you have any suggestions for those, put them in the comments section. Oh, don't forget the like, and don't forget to subscribe. This is going to be a regular thing. It'll be coming out. Well, we haven't determined the frequency yet, but we're going to be doing a lot of these. Have a great time. Enjoy what's left of the silly season. If we're still all locked under COVID regulations, well, hell, I hope we get out of that soon. That would be a dynamite one to video. All about the COVID rules and regulations and the science. Maybe we'll pop that one up for next. Anyhow, in the meantime, I am Jubal. This is Harshaw's Heroes. Keep America free.